Sunita's recorded one is there.
Recorded talk. Can we have Dr. Sunita Chaurasia's talk? Data management of iBank through software.
Hello everyone, I'll be talking on data management at the iBank. Data management has four key components: data collection, data organization, archival and storage of data, and data protection and retrieval. Data management at the iBank requires trained iBank personnel, a robust record system for easy access and analysis, and auditing process to check the accuracy of the data collected. Data management is required at the iBanks to identify the gaps and to scale up the operations where needed, analyze the demand and supply, analyze the individual performance parameters and overall performance of the iBank, to see the trends in different surgical procedures and to adapt to the innovative techniques to meet the surgeon's demand, auditing of the various functional arms of the iBank and improving the quality aspects, capacity building and research, and medico-legal reasons. Several people are involved in data collection at the iBank. This is a display of one such report which is important for the hospital corner recovery programs, and this is to analyze the performance at each partner hospital and also assess counselors and technicians' performance. This report shows notification rate, suitability rate, approach rate, consent rate, and the utilization rate, which is periodically monitored across the months and years. A similar report which assesses the counselor's performance on the same parameters. This is a display of 10, 20, 30-day check of corneal transplantation which happens across the months. And this is also compared with the previous year's data. This is to show the short-term trends and comparison to the previous years. This is the format of the iBank statistical yearly report, which includes 5 important parameters, namely the deaths and the death notification rate from hospitals served, potential donors and consent from the HCRP sources, tissue recovery and collection, eligibility and suitability for the tissues recovered with the intent for surgical use, and tissues distributed for the type of transplants. The documentation of donor cornea evaluation involves suitability for keratoplasty with its type and the reasons for the non-suitability. The donor records are preserved in physical format for 10 years for regulatory purposes and thereafter in the form of scanned records. Similarly, data is collected regarding the cornea utilization for various types of surgeries. This is to know the trends in the utilization rates and the trends of various types of keratoplasty. The iBanks also maintain a record of pre-cut desec tissues, amniotic membrane, and sclera. With respect to pre-cut desec, the thickness of the grafts and preservation media preferences of the individual surgeons is also noted. This is to know the relative demands and preferences in the community. The overall monthly transplants data and the type of transplants from each network iBank is shared with the iBank Association of India and the corner distribution system. The data that is collected for routine operational efficiency includes temperature records, laboratory cleaning logs, equipment maintenance and calibration status, instrument cleaning and sterilization logs, and environmental monitoring data sheets. Other records that are routinely maintained in the iBank includes recipient information forms, adverse reaction reporting forms, internal and external quality audit reports, technician training and annual competency records, reporting of non-compliances, corrective action and preventive action records, and donor record review logs. Data is collected on quality parameters of donor tissue retrieval, any protocol deviations during in situ excision and storage, quality of pre-cut tissues, periodic audits of tissue retrieval evaluation process and pre-cut processing procedures. Auditing of donor documentation records is done regularly. 10% of the iBank records are done by the manager and 5% by the medical director. The data that is collected and compiled is organized in the form of daily reports, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly reports. Data archival is done in the form of manual documentation, which is in the form of registers and logs, and electronic records. Some of the iBank database systems we have used include the iTransplant, Global iBank Management System, and Salesforce CRM platform.
This is a screenshot showing the data management using the eye transplant. This slide shows a screenshot of the GEMS and the Salesforce software.
The electronic eye bank database allows for retrieval of the following data, which relates to the recovery status, donor's medical history, evaluation findings, tissue requests, tissue distribution, and transplantation by various surgeons. It allows for access to donor demographics, donor tissue quality, tracking technician and counselor's performance, transplantation trends, trends in different surgical procedures, and tracking the surgery indications. The IBank database system ensures confidentiality of donor records as is required as per the standards, helps in retrieving data for research studies which help in framing policies and guidelines on eye banking.
In the year 2017, SiteLife provided another software, Global Eye Bank Management System, in place of the eye transplant. This was developed locally by Indian software company at Pune and continued to provide free of cost service during the partnership period. However, this was implemented only in a few eye banks. In 2019, GEMS software was withdrawn and thereafter RIB was engaged in local software company to develop its own software, and this was a Salesforce Microsoft CRM platform, and this software is in use since then. The iBank Society of Rajasthan, Jaipur, uses their own software which is very similar to the SiteLife provided GEMS software, and the Rotary Arvind International Eye Bank Madurai is in the process of developing their own software which is under testing phase and probably may take around 3 months for implementation. Some eye banks in Maharashtra state use the government provided software. Now there can be some challenges using the eye bank database software, and some of these involve around the cost and the recurring expenditure, some of which may be difficult for the eye banks to afford. And despite having the eye bank database software, there may still be a need to maintain physical forms as per the requirement of the quality audit and the government regulations. Despite its challenges, the iBank database software has several advantages. It can help retrieve the data points easily, such as donor demographics. It can help to generate the statistical reports. One can get required data to see the donor and the transplantation trends. And one can also get a curated data for auditing and research purpose.
Thank you.